Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Libra April 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, as far as April goes, the Sun will be in Aries from the 1st until the 19th. So, the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, attention, focus into being very into assertiveness, aggressiveness, and applying this perhaps toward legal situations, open adversaries. It could be dealing with relationships. It could be a lot of focus on fortitude and courage in these areas as well. The concentration of energy and power can also be on documents and negotiations, and doing this with perhaps little hesitation and procrastination, with a lot of enterprise and initiative, because of course Aries is the sign we're talking about, and Aries is a sign also very energetic. So there shouldn't be much problem as far as the energy level in terms of focusing on these areas. And this could also shine the light on an Aries open adversary, so to speak. And anyway, the next thing up is, as far as April goes, the Sun will be in Taurus from the 19th until the 30th. So there'll be a strong attention, focus, concentration of energy into being really very deliberate, very plotting, methodical, in doing this in connection perhaps with taxes, transformation, insurance. Also, really, there could be a lot of attention into other 8th house matters as well. Of course, it could be astrology, the occult, supernatural, and doing so in a very ponderous and very deliberate Taurus-like manner, and really not doing things where, and also dealing with crisis with a lot of Taurus-like composure and calmness. So anyway, and also this could be a lot of concentration of persistent energy into 8th house matters, such as dealing with a major change or transformation, taxes, insurance, even matters with inheritance if you haven't gotten what you thought you were entitled to. Taurus, of course, could be very obstinate and unyielding energy, so you get the idea. Anyway, next thing up is the new moon will be in Aries on April 15th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Libra. So at this time for Libra, this could be about perhaps embarking in some cases on a new relationship. It could be with an Aries Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies those characteristics, and it might be done so with a lot of initiative, enterprise, a lot of aggressiveness and assertiveness, not really taking much time to go about this, and really with little procrastination. And also in some cases, though, this could be about a new Aries open adversary, which could as well be an Aries Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies Aries-like characteristics. Could just be somebody very combative, acrimonious, quick-tempered. And also, too, this could be the start perhaps of a new business partnership that might be connected with something Aries-like. It could be something with some kind of law enforcement, or maybe something that could be a combat sport, such as maybe teaching karate or boxing perhaps, or even wrestling. There could be something Aries related that you might maybe partner up with somebody with. It could be arson investigation, welding, something that could be connected with the sign Aries. And it could, and also the next thing up I want to get at is the full moon will be in Scorpio on April 29th. So the 2nd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. This could be a time for Libra where Libra might become exasperated, tired, full, had enough of perhaps a manipulative, surreptitious, caustic, or even controlling person at the place that they generate income at. It could be enough of surreptitious, sneaky activity associated with your possessions and resources, maybe somebody trying to control what you purchase and what you buy, or somebody that kind of is trying to put a figurative death to your self-esteem and self-worth. This could also be about perhaps a conundrum or mystery that comes to a culmination or conclusion that might be associated with your lost funds, your possessions, your resources, perhaps as well. It could also be too where a Scorpio-like money-making venture comes to an end at this time. It could be something connected with astrology, the occult, supernatural, locksmith work. It could even be something that might be connected with investigation or even psychology or psychiatry. Anyway, next thing up is Mercury will be in Aries in April, so the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. It will be retro for about half the month, though. Anyway, this could be a time to where you might become somewhat angry and acrimonious if maybe a significant other disagrees with you on something. This could be very really combative communications with open adversaries as well at this time. And the thing about it is important Mercury in Aries, that sometimes when Mercury is in Aries, is that communications where somebody might have a difference of opinion with you, you might take to heart at this time. So it could be something where somebody in a business partnership or in a relationship situation, or even dealing with somebody in a legal matter, like say an attorney that might be helping you out, and if they're disagreeing with you, it's important to try not to take it to heart at this time, because this is more energy that could be more contentious, and when somebody might say something you don't agree with, you might really become exasperated and upset quickly at this time, and with Mercury and quick-tempered Aries. Also, this could be about more pioneering and original thinking. And it could be, in some cases, trying to look for some legal loopholes or maybe or something connected with some business partnership you may be involved in. Maybe you're finding new ways to negotiate and find some kind of compromise or reconciliation in situations. Remember that it will be retro for about half the month, so there'll be a little bit more review before speaking at this time. So anyway, next thing up is Venus will be in Taurus as far as April goes, from the 1st until the 24th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Libra at this time, this could be about a love of peace, stability, tranquility, and creature comforts that might be shared with someone you're in a sexual relationship with, or someone you're in an intimate relationship with. This could be about, too, the enjoyment of just maybe having you look at this could be about maybe persistent, methodical way of making money at this time, and doing so with a lot of that Taurus-like tenacity. And it could be applied towards something 8th house related, such as taxes, insurance matters. It could be with a sexual partner, or even in some cases it could be applied toward making a major change or transformation with yourself. So anyway, this also could be too where you might, if you're unattached at this time, Libra, you might find perhaps a Taurus or Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply somebody that may embody Taurus-like characteristics. That could be a prospective significant other. It could be something in some 8th house, somebody connected with an 8th house type field or a location. It could be somebody connected with astrology, or somebody in psychology, psychiatry, or insurance. Perhaps it could be somebody that you meet at some tax examiner's office. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Venus will be in Gemini as far as April goes, from the 24th until the 30th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Libra, well, this could be a time where, I mean, the first thing off is that there's a little greater propensity to have two love relationships simultaneously. If you're unattached, Libra, It could be, and it might be somewhat superficial ones. It could be ones with people that maybe are in a foreign country, and it may be maybe somebody that people you meet at a college or some kind of college university. Now, this could be about enjoyment of expressing diversity in philosophy, religion, and really about the enjoyment perhaps of mental and intellectual stimulation, perhaps with in-laws and grandchildren at this time, and communication of the abstract as well at this time as well. It could also be about maybe doing things, enjoyment of doing things connected with dexterity, with in-laws, with grandchildren. It could be with foreigners. It could be just working on vehicles, doing refrigeration repair, and also it could be about making money too, doing something Gemini related, such as something connected with writing or communication. And it could be where maybe you do this maybe at some college you might be doing something. It could be as a professor or doing something connected with the communications teaching, or maybe even doing something else that you might be traveling abroad and making some money doing communications, perhaps in another country. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Mars will be in Capricorn. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So first thing up is, as far as this goes, well, the situation perhaps with family members, people you're close to home with, so to speak, might be a little bit more acrimonious and contentious than usual. This could be about a lot of discipline, consistent, and serious energy related to home, matters pertaining to the home. It could be doing work around the house, doing things for family members, people that you feel close at home to. It could even be trying to get in touch with your roots or doing things with traditions. And also, too, the energy that could be expressed could be very premeditated and really planned out very well at the same time. And also, this could be about arguments over home responsibilities, perhaps. This could be, too, that you look at this as well, and there could be a lot of energy injected into maybe foundations and ones that will have longevity and durability, ones that will be sustained for some time. And at the same time, this could be also in some cases, you may find someone that if you're unattached, especially find that consistent Capricorn-like sex with, that's really premeditating, someone you feel close to home with, or somebody that a family member might introduce you to. So anyway, next thing up is Jupiter will be in Scorpio. It will be retro this month, and the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Libra, there could be a lot of luck and fortune. Perhaps you're making some transformation, metamorphosis in values, in the way you generate income. And it could also be about, as far as things connected with ways to make money, going beyond the superficial as well, and really looking deep into maybe ways you can really do something in terms with your income as well. And it could be a lot of luck connected with that. And anyway, too, it's also, this could be, remember that Jupiter can be paradoxical, as I've stated before in previous videos. It's very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and really expand things. It could also expand and enlarge perhaps surreptitious and nefarious activity with one's resources, possessions, and finances as well. So it's important to be careful during this time, Libra, as far as that can go. So anyway, well, another thing with this too, remember that this is about, it's going to be retrograde this month as far as April goes. So there can be a review, really perhaps about maybe a profound or deep philosophy, I call a non-superficial philosophy, regarding matters with self-worth and self-esteem, and also about money in general. And you might be reviewing this at this time, and also review over perhaps certain exuberance and enthusiasm you have towards Scorpio, like areas in which you might make money at, such as astrology, the occult, supernatural, magic, tarot, things connected with investigation, psychology, locksmithing, etc. So anyway, next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Libra, well, Libra might be going through some restrictions and limitations in their home life at this time, which might cause a certain despondency and make Libra feel somewhat melancholy. It could also be about perhaps taking care of a debilitated or sickly family member or someone they feel close to home with. It could be someone that, it might be where the person they're taking care with might have some problems with the knees, perhaps, or the bones at this time, or joints. So it could be something Capricorn related. Now, another thing is, remember, it's going to be in retrograde from the 17th until the 30th as far as April goes. So there could be very serious review over responsibilities that are fourth house related, such as traditions, maybe building foundations. It could be matters pertaining to the home and family life at this time. So at the same time, looking at this could be about really, they talk about restrictions in the home life, and it could be in some cases, you're talking about Saturn and Capricorn, this could even be government restrictions or some strong authority that's giving you some restrictions in matters which you're trying to make, in matters connected with doing something with your home, such as maybe, like say, of some kind of variance or some kind of extension. So it could be that in some cases there might be some government or some authority that might be prohibiting you from doing this. So anyway, next thing up is Uranus will be in Aries, and the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Libra, well, Libra might experience some unusual, bizarre, and unorthodox perhaps legal situations at this time. Their relationships in general might be very erratic, sporadic, and unpredictable. Might be dealing with unusual open adversaries and legal issues. Now, in some remote cases, if Libra is unattached, there's a chance of marrying a foreigner or somebody that might be connected with some Uranus field, such as an innovator, someone with computers or electronics, or somebody associated with an esoteric subject such as astrology. Really, it could be too. It could also be where Libra might partner up with somebody at this time as well. And as far as a business partnership goes, and it could be something Uranus related, such as something connected with aerospace, astronomy, computers, electronics, even astrology, since that's an esoteric subject. It could even be partnering up with a friend perhaps as well. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces, so the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, this could be about, Neptune energy could often be about dissipation and dissolving. Sometimes, sadly, this could be about the health at this time, and you might feel more, especially say if Neptune, let's say it's making some adverse aspects, especially like maybe an adverse aspect to natal Mars, your energy level might feel a little bit depleted as far as work goes, and you might feel more like relaxing than really doing things. It might be more about fantasizing about work. You might feel a little bit more lethargic at this time than usual as far as trying to get things done on a work-related level, or even something pertaining to health, such as working out vigorously. Could also be too where health can be affected by drugs and or alcohol, or even some accidental or inadvertent chemical assimilation, such as something being spilled on you that comes into contact, or maybe say something at the workplace, like absorbing some kind of radon, or at the home even you might absorb something, inadvertently. Another thing too is that keep in mind too, I mean, you look at this, the sixth house is also can be connected with an aunt or uncle because, I mean, two houses from the, I mean, the fourth house generally, I mean, is going to represent the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, and two houses from that is the sixth house, and though that represents the that person's siblings. So, I mean, if applicable, this could be a time too where maybe those people, an aunt or an uncle perhaps, might seem a little bit nebulous or unclear, or maybe being very somewhat deceptive and duplicitous at this time, or might succumb to something associated with drugs or alcohol. This could be a time too. I mean, Neptune is also can be associated with disappearances. This could be about a disappearance of a pet at this time, maybe somebody that you work with at your place of employment, someone prominent in your health life and scheme as well. So anyway, well, the next thing up is that Pluto will be in Capricorn still. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, I know a lot of you don't want me to say it, but I always talk about it anyway, the dreaded D word. This could suggest a death, a literal death perhaps, of a family member. That often could be the less dominant parent. This could be a time too where maybe Pluto can be about figurative deaths and obliterations and destructions, and this could be about perhaps tearing down maybe old traditions and maybe supplanting it with something else. Remember that Pluto can be about destruction, but also about rebirth and regeneration. It could be a time too where you might be having a lot of upheavals and power struggles with family members, with people that you're close to home with, so to speak, close at home with. As well, you might be, I mean, the fourth house too. I mean, you're talking about Pluto. It could be about digging deep into perhaps your ancestry, your roots at this time. And also, too, I mean, you might be experiencing in some cases some kind of manipulative behavior, perhaps from family members at this time as well. And also, things with the home life might be somewhat, you might be somewhat obsessive and compulsive about certain things in your home life as well, or maybe with somebody you feel very close at home with. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the North Node will still be in Leo, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, when you're talking about the North Node in transit, it can often be about what we might have to confront or address as far as issues go. And in this case, this could be about confronting perhaps a friend or acquaintance that might be rather bombastic, arrogant, domineering, overbearing, about taking pride and dignity with one's aspirations and goals, approaching the future with a lot of courage, fortitude, confidence, and self-assuredness. And also, too, it could be about having to be a little bit more extravagant than usual and express more generosity with friends and acquaintances at this time, or maybe spending money as far as applying toward your future, whether it's an investment or what have you, getting yourself prepared for the future, whatever it may actually entail. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will be in Capricorn, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, when we talk about the Black Moon Lilith, this could be about what could put us in a strong state of fear or trepidation. In this particular case, this could be, so you're talking about Black Moon Lilith and Capricorn in the fourth house, perhaps relinquishing authority at home could be one thing, could actually put you in a state of strong fear at this time, or perhaps losing, I mean, having a restricted or limited home life as well, or maybe being restricted in connection, with your traditions and what you want to do as far as that goes. Now, another thing could be too how this could manifest. I mean, this could be about a formidable adversary that might be unveiled or revealed at this time. It could be somebody that you might feel close to home with, or a family member. This could be a person, and it could be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies Capricorn-like characteristics. And also, too, another way this can manifest is that this could be a revelation of somebody that may be, or an unveiling of somebody that might really be exhibiting like ruthless, tyrannical, overambitious, very cold qualities, somebody you're close to home with, somebody tied into your traditions perhaps. It could be a family member. And also, too, another way this could work out is that, I mean, when you talk about the Black Moon Lilith, it could often be about an unveiling of something that gets out of the bag, so to speak, that you didn't want anyone to know. And this could be pertaining to perhaps a depressing home life or restricted home life or situation, or something really, or it might be something that might be very depressing that's associated with your roots or your ancestry to some degree, and really which might cause a lot of this Capricorn-like despondency and sadness. Anyway, Chiron will be in Pisces as far as April goes, from the 1st to the 16th. So the 6th house as well be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Libra, well, this could be really about really going through some emotional wounds and suffering, perhaps connected with chaos and confounding situations at the place of employment, a confounding or confusing illness, one that might be somewhat nebulous or difficult to diagnose. Could also be a Pisces-like health issue, such as something with the lymphatic system, feet, the toes, or even something drug or alcohol related, or even an accidental or inadvertent assimilation of a chemical such as radon. There could be issues about being overly passive, and maybe in people that are prominent in your daily routine. Maybe it could be people that you're dealing with at your place of employment, people that are prominent in your health life, and maybe more, it could be a lot about just being overly lethargic and not really just taking action in 6th house matters. It could be related to pets even, or something connected with your place of employment and your health. It could be health issues, or somebody that might be prominent in your daily routine as well. Could be about dealing with somebody, I mean, that might be rather deceptive or duplicitous. That might be 6th house, connected with the 6th house, and it could even be in some cases an aunt or an uncle, because as I stated before, the 4th house in astrology, I mean, that's about generally the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. The 6th house can be, since it's 2 houses from the 4th, can be about siblings of that person, which of course would be your aunt or aunts and uncles. So if you have any, this could be, about maybe one of them being, somewhat deceptive or duplicitous, or maybe hard to read and rather unclear at this time. But remember that Chiron is the wounded healer, so in areas connected with Chiron and Pisces in the 6th house that you might be having difficulty dealing with and succumbing to some kind of emotional wounds and suffering, you could help others in dealing with comparable situations. In doing so, perhaps with a lot of Pisces-like empathy, compassion, and really self-sacrifice. So anyway, last but not least, Chiron will be in Aries as far as April goes, from the 16th until the 30th. So the 7th house as well will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this could be about perhaps it could be dealing maybe some emotional suffering and some emotional wounds connected with lack of assertiveness and aggressiveness in legal matters, perhaps in matters pertaining to a significant other or business partnership. Maybe there was an opportunity to be involved in a business partnership, but it wasn't capitalized on. Dealing with open adversaries, legal situations, really, or in some cases too, this could be about suffering from being maybe from acrimonious experiences connected with the 7th house, such as dealing with these open enemies, people in legal situations. You might be involved with a marriage partner, significant other, and maybe just showing that aggressiveness in inopportune times as far as these as seventh house matters may go. And relationships might be somewhat of a figurative headache at this time, and really in negotiations, maybe not really taking advantage at the time when you had an opportunity to negotiate something or find some reconciliation, maybe being overly passive and not aggressive enough, and perhaps paying some kind of repercussions because of this. It could be also, when you're talking about Chiron and Aries energy, this could be associated with perhaps something that causes some feelings of some kind of unworthiness, and it could be as such as losing a battle to an open enemy or adversary, which could be court related, or just so whatever battle it might be, whether it might have been some isolated cases of physical confrontation or some kind of argument, or over, it could even be over some possession or just whatever it might be. I mean, it could be a manifold of things, of course. So anyway, but at the same time, people remember, as I stated before with the Chiron and Pisces, when I was talking about that, the Chiron is the wounded healer. So in ways that you might be going through some emotional wounds and suffering connected with Chiron and Aries in the seventh house, you could help others dealing with comparable situations, and in doing so, perhaps with a lot of that Aries like aggression, assertiveness, courage, and fortitude, and also being very outspoken. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Libra April 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll give you my Scorpio April 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.